Hello everyone, I am Dr. Shikha and I will be discussing today on the topic ecosystem. The contents of my discussion would be, firstly, what is an ecosystem? Second, the components of an ecosystem, that is abiotic factors as well as the biotic factors. Third, the movement of energy and nutrients that I would be explaining through food chain, food web, and lastly the ecological, or we can call it as Eltonian or biotic pyramids. So starting the discussion with the topic, what is an ecosystem? Firstly, we should know who coined the term ecosystem. It is a biological ecologist, A.G. Tansley, in the year 1935 gave the term ecosystem. Next, it is the system which is formed by the interaction between the two variables, that is biotic factors as well as the abiotic factors. Ecosystem can vary from a very small thing like a puddle to a big one like an ocean or a desert. Next, the components of the ecosystem are abiotic and biotic. As the term says, abiotic, means non and biotic means living. That is non-living factors which constitute whatever you can think of in the environment is non-living. Water, sunlight, shelter, soil, nutrients, rocks, oxygen, air, etc. And the biotic factors, that are the living factors, constitute trees, grass, animals, insects, plants, bacteria, fungi. The abiotic components form the environment. As I said, whatever you can think of in the environment is non-living constitute the abiotic components. It also determines the type and structure of the ecosystem. That is sunlight, nutrients, rainfall, minerals, and on the basis of the abiotic components, we classify the ecosystem into different parts as tropical rainforest, desert, savanna, grassland, tundra, etc. Coming up to the biotic components. The biotic components are further divided into three. Firstly, the producers, second, consumers, and thirdly, the decomposers. Producers are also termed as autotrophs. Autotrophs which can produce their own food with the help of solar energy, as in the case of green plants, with the help of photosynthesis. Secondly, the consumers. Consumers consume upon the organic compounds that are produced by the autotrophs by eating upon the plant or animal tissue. Consumers can be further classified like herbivores, which are plant feeders, carnivores, which are meat eaters, omnivores, which can feed on plant as well as animal tissue. They are termed as omnivores. Lastly, decomposers. These are tiny organisms including bacteria and fungi which turn the organic compounds in dead plants and animals into the organic materials. And the main function of the decomposers is nutrient cycling. They cause the continuous circulation of the chemicals within an ecosystem. Next is the type of ecosystem. We will not go into the detail of the type of ecosystem, but broadly, ecosystem is classified into two, natural and artificial. Natural, that exists naturally in the environment, and artificial, that is man-made, like arboreta. Natural is further classified into two, aquatic and terrestrial, the land ones and the water ones. Aquatic is further classified into two, freshwater and marine. Freshwater ecosystems can be lentic, which having the stagnant water, lotic, which are having the running water, and other is wetlands. Marine can further be classified into coastal areas, upwelling regions, and open oceans. And the terrestrial ecosystem, on the other hand, are classified into grassland, where the grasses are predominant, desert, where there is very low rainfall, and forest area, where there are abundance of trees. Next, coming up to the idea of food chain. So who gave the idea of the food chain in an ecosystem? It was introduced by C. Elton. Next is, a food chain may be defined as transfer of energy and nutrients through a succession of organisms through repeated process of eating and being eaten. There are maximum of 4 to 5 trophic levels in a food chain, and reason is 10% energy law, which I will be explaining later. Longer the food chain, the lesser is available for the final members. So in this diagram, we can see various components of the food chain. Firstly, the solar energy, that is the main source of energy. This energy is utilized by the producers, the green plants, to generate the food with the help of the solar energy, and it is only 1% of the total solar energy that is utilized by plants to produce the food globally. And this is the first trophic level, that is the first nourishment level. And this energy is again transferred to the second trophic level, and at the second trophic level there are herbivores, or we can call them primary consumers, which feed upon the producers, and the energy that is transferred from producers to primary consumers is only 10%. Same is at the third trophic level. The primary consumer or herbivore is being eaten by the secondary consumer at the third trophic level, and only the 10% energy is transferred. Rest, some of the energy is liberated in the form of heat, and other is used by the organism itself for its metabolic functions. Next, we've understood what is food chain, but let us understand what are the different types of the food chain. Firstly, predator or grazing food chain. Second, parasitic food chain. Third is the saprophytic or detritus food chain. We'll discuss all three types of food chain one by one. Coming up to the predator or the grazing food chain. It is the most common type of the food chain, and the example we discussed while understanding the food chain is of grazing food chain. The most common type of food chain, and it starts from green plants, then goes to herbivores, then to primary carnivores, then to secondary carnivores, and so on. And we have already discussed, while discussing the food chain can have maximum of 3 trophic levels to 5 trophic levels, as there is energy loss at every step. So each step is a trophic level, and there is losses of energy between every level. This is again an example of the food chain in the aquatic ecosystem, the parasitic or the grazing food chain. It starts with the producers, and in the aquatic ecosystem, producers are tiny organisms termed as phytoplanktons. Then after that, primary consumers are zooplanktons, which feed on the phytoplanktons. In turn, the zooplanktons are being eaten by the fish, which are the secondary consumers, and then the tertiary consumers, that is the turtle in this case. So this is an example of the grazing or the predator food chain. Coming up to the parasitic food chain. As we have discussed or seen in the case of grazing food chain, as we move upward from herbivore towards the carnivores, primary, secondary carnivores, the size of organism increases, but it is not the case in the parasitic food chain. As we move upwards towards the higher trophic levels, the size of organism decreases. For example, in the case, let us consider a tree, and then a number of birds reside upon it. The size of the bird is comparatively larger, and on a bird, a number of bugs can reside. So, in comparison of birds and bug, size of bug is small. And on a bug, a number of bacteria could be there, and on a bacteria, a number of phages could be there. So, the parasitic food chain moves from larger organism to a smaller ones without outreach killing. In the grazing food chain, we have discussed that one feeds upon other, but in this case, one lives upon another and not directly kills it. as in the case of predator, and the size of organism decreases but their number increases. Next, the saprophytic or detritus food chain. As the term suggests detritus, so this food chain starts from the detritus and goes through consumer in the successive trophic levels. Here, sun is not the source of energy at the first steps. The organisms that are involved are algae, fungi, bacteria, slime mold, actinomycetes, protozoa, etc. What they do is they ingest upon the partially decomposed organic matter, digest them partially, and after extracting some of the chemical energy in the food to run their metabolism, they excrete in the remainder in the form of simpler organic molecules. And this excreted waste from one organism is immediately utilized by the second, and the process goes on. So here is an example of detritus food chain. Organic matter eaten up by the microbes, which are eaten up by the detrivores, and which are eaten up by their predators. Next, we have discussed the three types of food chain, but no type of food chain occurs solitary, whether it is grazing or detritus food chain. There is linkage between the food chain, which is depicted by Y-shaped model of energy flow. Next, coming up to the food webs. We have discussed about the linear food chain, but in nature, no food chain occurs independently. There is interconnection between the food chains. So, the complicated network between interconnected food chains that is operating in an ecosystem is termed as food web. It represents an integration of critical biotic as well as abiotic factors in the ecosystem. Food web maintains the stability of the ecosystem, and resources are shared especially at the beginning of the chain. So here is an example of the food web. In this, we can see different linear chains are connected with each other, and this pattern forms the food web. The food webs can be simpler, but in actual conditions, naturally, the complex food webs exist. Here is another example of food chain and food web in the aquatic ecosystem. We can see that in the example of food chain, energy from the sun is the source of the energy that is utilized by the producers, that are dinoflagellates, and then these dinoflagellates are being eaten up by the copepods, that are primary consumers, followed by secondary consumers, that are ocean sunfish, followed by small sharks, and later on large sharks. In this, we can see that there are 5 trophic levels. Similarly, if we move towards the food web example, these type of linear chain, many such chains exist in the aquatic system, and they are all interconnected, and this interconnected patterns of the food chain forms the complex food web in the aquatic system. Next is ecological or Eltonian or biotic pyramids. Why are they termed as Eltonian? Because it is Charles Elton who gave the concept of ecological pyramids in 1927. So what are these pyramids? We have discussed about the trophic levels. So it is the graphic representation of trophic structure and functions, that are producers, herbivores, primary carnivores, secondary carnivores, top carnivores found in an ecosystem. In ecological pyramid, the first or the producer level constitutes the base, and successive levels, that are primary, secondary consumers, are the tiers that make up the apex. Ecological pyramids are further of 3 types: pyramid of number, pyramid of biomass, and pyramid of energy. This is a depiction of an ecological pyramid where we can see the base is formed by the producers, and the next level is formed by the primary consumers, next by secondary consumers, next by tertiary, and last by the quaternary consumers. This is an example of upright pyramid. The opposite of this is inverted pyramid, and between the two is a mixed form. Coming up to the pyramid of numbers. The pyramid of number takes into consideration the relative number of individual organisms at each trophic level. So here we count the number of producers, primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, and quaternary consumer, and accordingly we plot a pyramid. In a grassland and aquatic system, this pyramid is upright, that is, the number of producers are highest, and as we move towards next trophic level, the number goes on decreasing. But in the case of tree and parasitic ecosystem, the pyramid is inverted. Since the size of individuals may vary widely and may not indicate the productivity of that individual, pyramid of numbers say a little or nothing about the amount of energy moving through ecosystem. It gives more weightage to the small sized individual, and upon that it is very difficult to count the number of organisms, as we have discussed in the case of aquatic ecosystem. There are phytoplankton, zooplankton, so it is very difficult to count the number of phytoplankton, zooplanktons, and so on and so forth. So with these limitations, we now discussed the pyramid of biomass. Firstly, what is biomass? It is the total amount of living tissue within a given trophic level. Pyramid of biomass illustrates the relative amount of living organic matter available at each trophic level. It is upright in the case of parasitic ecosystem and inverted in the case of grassland and aquatic system. Here is an example of inverted pyramid. We can see that the biomass of the producers is less, and as we move towards the carnivores, the biomass goes on increasing. So it is an inverted type of pyramid. The pyramid of biomass gives more weightage to large size individual, and that is a limitation to pyramid of biomass. So we will discuss about the pyramid of energy. Pyramid of energy is the only type of ecological pyramid which is always upright, as the energy flow in the food chain is always unidirectional. Also, with every increasing trophic level, some of the energy is lost due to the environment. We have already discussed this. Then the primary producers are characterized by maximum, and at each successive tier of consumers, the energy value per square meter per year decreases by about 1/10. That is the 10% law. Okay. Thus, only 10% energy is transformed from one trophic level to the successive one. This is an example of pyramid of energy, and we have already discussed that pyramid of energy is always upright. Here we can see that at the level of producer, the energy is 1000 kilocalories, and only 10% of this, that is 100 kilocalories, is being transferred to the primary consumers. Rest is utilized by the producer itself, and some of it is lost in the form of heat. Next, out of the 100 kilocalories of the primary consumer, only 10% of it, that is 10 kilocalories, is moved on to the secondary consumers, and at the next trophic level, 10% of this, that is 1 kilocalorie, is given to the tertiary consumers. So this way only 10% of the energy is transferred to the next step, and therefore only in a food chain only 3 to 5 trophic levels can exist. Then what are the limitations of these ecological pyramids? Firstly, more than one species may occupy multiple trophic levels, as we have discussed in the case of food web. Thus, this system does not take into account the food webs. Secondly, the saprophytes are not considered in any of the pyramids, even though they form an important part of the various ecosystems. As we have discussed in all three pyramids, we have plotted producers, herbivores, primary carnivores, secondary carnivores, tertiary carnivores, but there is no place of the saprophytes. So this is a limitation of the pyramids. These pyramids are applicable only to the simple food chains which usually do not occur naturally. These pyramids do not deliver any concept in relation to the variations in the season and climate. Lastly, they do not consider the possibility of the existence of the same species at different levels. So, this was all about the ecosystem. Thank you.